over the next couple of minutes, I'm sure, but we're going to get started on our bellies this morning. And I know I said to bring a couple of blankets, and you might roll one of those blankets up and place it under your pelvis, under like where your hip crease is. Or you might take like a couch cushion, or if you have like a little bolster nearby, that's another option too. You can start the music as soon as you want to. It's pretty laid back today. And just finding your belly on the floor. As you come to find your belly on the floor, you might take your hands and stack them in front of you, and then rest your head on the back of your hand. You might decide to tuck your hands underneath your belly, elbows wide, head to the side. And just taking a couple of moments to really settle in. You might shake the hips side to side. Relax your glutes, especially if you're a clencher. Good, welcome. If you just arrived, we're on our bellies. Hi, Linda. Good, and settling in and just noticing your breath. Just starting off with a little bit of like information gathering about where you begin today. Nice. So it's February 14th. Sometimes that has a special meaning, other years not so much, But I just wanted to read a little something from Heidi Rose Robbins, who is, she's an astrologer, and she writes, every morning she writes a little moon note, kind of telling you where the moon is today. And she's really talented, like suggester, suggesting how to kind of view the day and sort of validating certain things that might come up based on where the moon is located. So today she writes, the moon moves into Aries at 7:54 a.m. Pacific time. Good morning and hello. Yes, you, happy day of love among many days of love. Today, let's choose not to feel bereft of love in any way. Let's embody love, stand in love, stand as love. Let's not wait for it, but be it. Let's not stand outside it, but enter it. Let's fall in love 20 times today with a flower, a tree, a stranger, kind eyes, or a delicious breakfast. Yes, let's fall into love and not stand at the edge and dip our toes in. Let's crack open and shed some tears if we need to, rendering us more available to love. Tears are great softening agents, and when our edges are soft, we feel a greater connection and warmth with all of our fellow travelers. Good. Noticing your edges, the boundary between your physical body and the world around you. And begin to notice the way that you're breathing and how that kind of shifts things at your edges. You might decide to sweep your arms out wide, like you're hugging the floor, hugging the earth below the floor. Good, and sort of this gesture of gratitude for all of the support you receive, everything that holds you up. Good. If you have your head turned to the side, maybe just turn it to the other side really briefly so that your neck gets, the other experience. Notice how your shoulders respond and your upper back. Good. And then from here, we're just going to turn our heads so that the right cheek is down. Your arms will be out into this T shape. And we're going to take a little arm stretch here. It might be nice to have your block or a pillow or something nearby. As you roll over to your right side, keep that right arm long behind you. I like to pull my knees in towards my chest, kind of take some of the pressure off of the low back. But you might also extend that right leg out long here and maybe make like a little kickstand with your left foot, left knee pointing up. Good. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that and just let your face soften. Good. Starting with your eyes, inner and outer corners relax. Relax the corners of your mouth, jaw. Let your tongue soften too, your throat. Good. And then notice your forehead and the top of your head. Good. Why don't we take another 10 breaths or so here in this big old arm stretch. You might decide to tuck that left arm back behind you. Maybe the left arm reaches past your head, or maybe you just kind of hang out. It's up to you. It doesn't have to like go anywhere. Let's just try to enjoy wherever we end up. Good. One more breath. And then we're just going to roll back onto our bellies here, extending both legs nice and long behind. Maybe just a little Sphinx pose here, propping yourself up onto your elbows. Good. And maybe for a moment, there's like a little like sway from side to side. So kind of looking this way and that way. You might stop and be still for a moment, maybe even flipping your palms up or towards each other. Good. If your glutes are clenching, see if you can relax them a bit. And the head might drop down here. Good. 5 more breaths. You might take it up to seal if you feel like going there, pressing the hands into the ground, lifting those elbows. Good. And then just go ahead and set yourself back down. Really make contact with the ground. You might shake the hips again, side to side. Feel the tops of the thighs move along the floor. Good. Soften your jaw. Right. And then we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. And your choice, you can press yourself up through plank and then tuck the knees back into child's pose. Or maybe you're just gently peeling yourself away from the floor and sitting the hips back towards the heels. Good. And why don't we stay for a couple of minutes in this child's pose? So you could choose to support yourself with blankets or blocks or just whatever you have nearby and want to use. Good. Good. Notice how the shoulders and the upper back and chest feel. You can really do anything with your arms here. You sometimes taking them around you, or even underneath you, curling yourself up is really nice. And settling in again. And enjoy these next 10 breaths. Really noticing how they feel in your body, what's happening, what's moving. Good. And then when you are ready, just begin to come up to sit on your heels or in an easy seated position. And we're just going to stop and take a mudra for a minute or so. So we'll take Vajra Mudra, which is just you interlacing your fingers and pointing your thumbs up. It's just like this little gate. And so we'll just kind of hang here for a moment. You can hold this anywhere where it feels natural. Sometimes even setting it in your lap can feel nice. But maybe it's up here by your heart or at your belly, or even resting on your body. Good. And then notice the way your heart is beating. Maybe quickly or slowly. Just in there, always going. Good. Let's change the cross of fingers so that the other fingers are on top. We'll take about 7 more breaths here. And this mudra is about trusting. And it's not just like a surface level trust. It's like a trust that's really, really deep within you. An unshakable trust in the way that things happen and accepting the way that things unfold. Maybe trusting that you are skillful enough to do what needs to be done. And trusting that there is kind of like a higher thing happening, perhaps. Good. Another deep breath here. Right, and then we'll make our way out onto hands and knees. And as you get to hands and knees, just the movements that you like to take. So it can really be anything. It can be, cats and cows. It can be you moving your torso around in a circle and kind of rolling around the wrists and the knees. And while we're here, I want you to pay some special attention to the hands and the wrists and how they're feeling. You might play around with doing a little something different with your hands, like turning your fingers to the side or around, or even like making a fist, placing your thumb in your other fingers, and then pressing your knuckles into the ground. Sometimes that's just the thing. Good. And an option here, if you want to do something a little stronger, is to just gently bend the elbows and kind of touch the sides of your rib cage. And then press yourself back up and wiggle around. And maybe thinking about lowering down close to the floor. Maybe it's like a millimeter. Good, a few more breaths. Right, and then we're going to come back to our hands and knees in neutral kind of position. Reach the right arm up. And then let's slide that right arm underneath and thread the needle here. And then let's tuck ourselves in kind of cozy. You can cross your ankles one over the other. You might take the palm of your left hand or your fingertips and touch the top of your head. Yeah. Good. Just a couple more breaths here, maybe 5 or so. If you'd like to turn this into a little bit more of like a twist, you could take that left arm and wrap it behind you. Good. Thinking about picking that left shoulder up and away from the floor. Yeah, nice. Good. Slowly unwind yourself. Press that left hand down into the floor. Raise the right arm up nice and high. And then you might even take like a little swing of the right arm. You can take it around in a circle maybe. Just exploring range of motion for a moment. And do your best to really like move it intentionally and purposefully. Good, and then go ahead and set that right hand down. And we're gonna make our way to our bellies, but you might come to downward dog. You might take a plank and then lower down, or you might like just slide right out there. That's a good thing too. Yeah, so just determining what you need this morning. Is it strength? Is it a little bit more rest? Maybe it's both. Good, setting yourself down on the floor, stretch your arms back out into that T shape. And we'll turn our head so that the left cheek is down and then go on, roll over to your left side. Yep, perfect. Maybe there's something underneath your head here. Good, and what do you want to do with your legs? Are you kind of snuggling in, knees to chest? Or maybe this is a little kickstand action, right knee points up. And listen for the sound of your breath. And kind of cultivating like an affection for your own breathing, for your own body, the way it carts you all over the place. Good, keeps you here. Good, and you might spend a couple moments noticing sensation in your fingertips on the left side. Nice. Few more big inhales and exhales. Beautiful. So coming on out of this, let's come back to our bellies just for a moment, and then it's your choice if you want to take another Sphinx pose. That's an option. If you want to activate and take a locust pose, reaching your hands back alongside your body and just lifting up your feet, lifting your chest. Yeah, maybe you want to reach back for your feet. Good. Maybe it's a cobra pose, but near back bend, whatever it is. Good. Notice how things feel between the top of your pelvis and the lower part of your rib cage. Let your belly soften a bit. Yeah, and you can set yourself down whenever you're ready. We'll take the hands underneath the shoulders and shift back into puppy pose this time with your hips up above your knees. It's really nice to have a blanket under your knees here, or at least that's good for me. So maybe get cozy. I'm thinking of like a couple of minutes here. Good. And as you find your puppy pose with your arms outstretched, your hips above your knees, and notice if maybe your elbows want to soften a little bit out to the sides. If your head wants to turn to one side or the other, or maybe your forehead is down. And again, you might cross your ankles so that your lower body feels a little bit more like contained and grounded. Soften those eyes again. Let your jaw soften, your ears, your scalp. Good. Another few breaths. And then eventually we're going to make our way back up onto hands and knees. But if you want to slide back into child's pose first, you're welcome to get there on your hands and knees. Yeah, you know what to do. I see you already doing it. Do what feels appropriate in your body this morning. You take notice of the way that your head and neck are moving or not moving. Your shoulders, your ribs, each of your vertebrae. Yeah, just to scan through the body with whatever movement suits you. Another few breaths. Yeah, you could practice that strong thing again if you're feeling it, or another option is to come up into a plank pose if you want some more of the warming and strengthening this morning. Yeah. And if you've opted to plank or something like that, you might drop your heels side to side so that you can warm your entire midsection. Good. Sides of the waist, up, back, etc. Good. And eventually we'll all come back into a neutral spine on hands and knees. Good. And then you'll just sweep the left fingertips up towards the ceiling and slide the left arm underneath, threading your needle. Nice. If you want to cross ankles, that's cool. Or touch the top of your head. And just notice the way that your breath might have changed a little bit. See if you can bring an expansiveness back to your breath. Good. Yep, just a couple more breaths here. If you want to wrap that right arm back behind you, it's a thought to turn this into a little bit of a twist, maybe even propping that right shoulder up. Good. Nice. All right, we're going to work our way out of this by pressing the right hand down into the floor, lifting that left arm nice and high. And then maybe those big circles. Good. The arm doesn't have to be super straight here. The elbow can bend, the wrist can bend. Take those circles in both directions. Good. And then go ahead and set that left hand back down. And we're gonna come back into a seated position. So you might come through child's pose. You might just come back to sit up. And we're gonna get comfortable because we're gonna touch our head and face for a while. So you might even sit in a chair for this, honestly, if sitting on the floor is a little much for your back. Sitting on a bolster, a blanket, your heels, whatever works. I know I mentioned in the email if you had any oils around and you wanted to use them, that it would be a nice thing for you to do for yourself. So I'm just going to use a little essential oil this morning. And I'm thinking first we'll just give ourselves a scalp massage. So you're just going to take your fingers at the base of the skull and just rake them up and down. Let's start back here. And maybe your pinkies are kind of dragging behind your ears. Maybe the heels of your hands are gently pressing into the sides of your neck as you rake the fingers up and down. Good. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes and just listening to my words, you might do that. Good. And then slowly start to work your way up the head. Okay, up the sides, the back. And you might take some circular movements with your fingertips, especially up here, near the top of the ear. Good. If you have a little bit of fingernail, this is going to sound weird, but it might be nice to give it a good scratch. Good. Thinking about maybe your pet, they come up to you and they want a good scratch and it's a nice loving exchange. It's like being your own pet for a moment. Let's go all the way up to the top of the head. Good. Your thumbs might still be kind of down near your ears while the rest of the fingers massage in a circular kind of way on the top of your head. My hair is getting pretty wild. Yeah, and remember your breath. Good, and then there are a couple of options here. So either you can pull the hair at the top of the head up, or you can set your hands down on the top of your head and press into your hands, whatever you think is better for you. Good, relax your shoulders. Great, and then go ahead and bring your hands back down to your sides. And let's just give our head and neck a little roll. It's a little something, nothing extreme, no pulling or tugging here, but just a gentle what's going on today? Sometimes I feel like bringing your attention to it is more than half of the battle. And so appreciating these muscles of your neck and your upper back, and hold up your big thinking head all day. And just for a few moments, see if that can be a little bit more relaxed. Just need to hold things up. Good, and then bring your head back. Oh my God, my hair. Bring your head back up through center. Let's take the arms out wide and give a little reach over here and a little reach over here, like we're kind of reaching for each other. Good, and then let's give ourselves a little hug or an eagle wrap, whichever arm underneath. Just remember which one you're doing first. And just dip your head down here and feel the upper back. And feel the tops of your shoulders. Good. One more breath. And release those arms, open them up wide again. Good. And see if you can bring the hands kind of back in space too, really bringing those shoulder blades towards each other. And then we'll just do the other side. A little eagle wrap here. And maybe another breath. Okay, and then come back through to the center, and we're gonna do a little massage of our face now. So if you have your oils, you can use them again, but we're just gonna take our fingers and rake them across our forehead. And we're gonna maybe take the ring finger down to the under edge of your eyebrow, like right on your ocular ridge there, dragging your fingers across. Good. Your index fingers might sweep the hairline area. Good. And then the fingers kind of collect in the temples. And we'll just do this a few more times. Trying to keep your jaw at ease, your eyes at ease, your shoulders relaxed. Good. And then let's bring our index fingers up into our third eye point. And we're going to slide them down the sides of the nose into that little depression there and kind of press in. So on either side of your nostrils. Good. Take a few breaths, press those fingers in. And we'll just do that a few more times, nice and slow. Fingers up in the third eye point, down the sides of the nose, into that depression. Take some breaths. Good. One more time. Good. And then let's take all of our fingers and kind of bring them up onto our cheekbone. And we'll drag our fingers down our face. This looks very strange for sure. But see if you can relax your cheeks, your jaw, and maybe your fingers then come down the front and the sides of your neck. Good. A few more breaths like this. Good. And then let's bring our fingers pretty much to the tops of our shoulders and just give ourselves like a little something. You know how cats make biscuits? Imagine like you're making biscuits on your own weird tight muscles of your neck. Good. And then we're going to take our hands and slide them down our collarbones to the center of our chest. We're going to take our fingers, and this is like, it's a little weird and a little awkward, but what you're doing is you're looking for the intercostal spaces. So these little spaces in between your ribs. It might feel a little weird or sometimes it's even just like a little tense there, you know, or a little sensitive, I guess I should say. So just holding your fingers there, you might decide for this to be a really light touch, or maybe you feel like digging in a little bit. You might make biscuits again. Good. A few more breaths. Good. And then let's just take the heels of our hands and kind of move side to side here. So if that felt a little uncomfortable, This might bring a little bit more ease back into that area. Nice. All right, let's rub our armpits. It's time. Our heart one points in our armpit. So just give yourself a little something under there. Maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe you really like this. Maybe to you, this is like, no, I don't, no, thank you. But just take a moment, you know? Okay, maybe the arm just reaches up and you're stretching that area. Good, and then take your hand down your arm, kind of squeezing your arm. Squeezing the wrist, your palm of your hand, a little bit of massage, and then come on back up the arm. Good, to the underarm, and then let's just set our hands on our heart for a moment. If you want to take Vajrapradama Mudra again, you're welcome to. Or your hands might just be like a little pile. Good, and we'll take our hand over into the other side and give yourself that underarm kind of massage if you want to. Good. Couple moments worth of that. All right, and then begin to squeeze your arm, squeezing your upper arm all the way around. Good, squeeze your elbow, forearm. Good, squeeze the wrist. Give the palm of your hand a little massage. Good, and then work your way back up the arm. Good, and hands come back to the heart for just one moment. And I'm thinking after all that sitting, something like a down dog might be nice to stretch out your legs, or maybe you just want to sit down and extend your legs out in front of you. Rotate your ankles around a couple times. And I think we're going to practice one seated forward fold before finding our backs. So eventually, yeah, make your way onto your seat. And this can be your favorite one, right? So your legs might be out in front of you long. You might roll up your blankets and place them under your knees so that your hamstrings are, there's a bit more space to fold forward. Okay, maybe you're taking a butterfly or a wide angle. Maybe your ankles are crossed one in front of the other, and we'll just fold into this this is going to be a nice long hold. Maybe a 5 minutes. And so if you happen to have a bolster nearby or a block or something, just bringing yourself all the comfort you can. Good. Noticing your constant companions, your breath and your heartbeat. And how they have a relationship with each other. Just being here with your breath in your body. Good. And notice what's going on in your head and your neck and your shoulders. And if there's any way you can support yourself there or bring a little bit more softness or sense of release, bring it in. Good. Taking notice of that space at the back of your heart. Underneath your shoulder blades, your breath moving that whole area. Good. Another handful of breaths here, like maybe 10 or so. If you're in a butterfly, you might cross your arms under your chest and lean into your upper arms. And if you've crossed your arms, you might cross them the other way. Good. Slowly start to lift yourself up and out of your forward fold and then roll right onto your back. And as you find your back, just have your stuff around you in grabbing distance. And you might want to strap. You might want to block. Good. And we're just going to extend the legs out long if that's okay for your lower back. And if your low back is uncomfortable with that, bend the knees and just bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and we'll float those arms out past the head. Good. Breathing deeply into the full length of your body. Do your best to breathe in and out of your nose. Good. And locate center for yourself. It might be in your belly, somewhere along the center line of your body that feels like your center. Observing some sensation there. Good. And from here, we're going to take a banana. So slide your heels over to the right. You might pick up your shoulders and scoot them over to the right, if that works for your body. Yeah, arms past your head, and a strap could be in between your hands as like a little bit of a supportive thing. Or your hands might just be resting. This left side of your body, finding a bit more space. Good. If your head and your neck and your jaw are trying to be active here, see if you can just let them settle really heavily into the floor. And I think we'll take another 10 breaths here. Good, and come back through to the center here. We're just gonna scoot ourselves into a little twist with your knees dropping over to the left. And as you find this twisted shape, maybe you need a little something in between those knees so that your hips can relax, your low back can rest. Something under that right shoulder maybe. And thinking again about that center place in your body. Okay, bringing your attention back to the sensation that you might feel there. And thinking about also kind of directing your breath into and out of that space. Good. Maybe 5 more breaths. Bring your attention up into kind of the spherical space around your physical heart. Out into the shoulders and down the arms and into your hands. Perfect. All right, you come back through to the center for like a minute of just doing any old thing. Maybe you want to take like an active bridge or set your feet up and rotate your ankles around. Happy baby. Time in Shavasana. Perfect. Good, and you'll kind of know when you're done playing around and you're ready for the banana on the other side. Just take your time to get there. And scooting everything over to the left this time and finding space on the right side of your body. Good. Notice your belly, your low back. Good, perfect. Just another few breaths here. Really letting your head sit nice and heavy. The muscles of your belly get to relax a little bit. Good, and find your way back to the center and over into your twist. Dropping your knees off to the other side. Good, and yeah, cozying up. What do you need to feel really comfortable here? So sometimes when twists are kind of intense for us, and there are many reasons why that can happen, but one of them might be that things just feel kind of stuck. Right? When we undergo a lot of stress, our bodies do this thing called armoring, where they just kind of like, get a little bit more rigid. So sometimes it's not comfortable to de-armor, and you need all the help you can get. And as you settle your body down towards the ground, just notice the way that the breath is moving in your body. Good. So noticing that center place just for a couple breaths. And take notice of the heart space again. Good. The full length of the arms, sensation in your hands and fingers. Nice. And then return yourself to the center and just do your thing, do the thing, which is going to lead to your final shape this morning. So think about what you need that to be. It's totally fine to do whatever you want here. There have been folks who have spent the last 5 minutes doing like strong things because they have to go and like take care of a bunch of stuff and they need to like energize. Right? And there's always Shavasana too. Good. Maybe you want to sit up or take a restorative bridge pose, block under the pelvis. Good. And allowing yourself the chance to settle into whatever you're doing or into the stillness. Good. And if you happen to be seated, I see a few of you, and you want to take a mudra to close out your practice, I'm thinking of maybe Dharma Chakra Mudra, which is where you join the thumb and the index finger on both hands, and the other fingers point up and out. And then you take your left palm and you turn it towards your heart, and you take your right palm and you turn it out. And then you connect your thumb and index finger of your right hand to the middle finger of your left hand. Yeah. Good. Yep. So it's the thumb and index finger of your right hand to the middle finger pad of your left hand. And then you just kind of hold it up in front of your heart. I've been enjoying this mudra a lot because it's a representation of like the importance of finding balance between our inner selves and our outer existence in the world. Good. Right, so taking notice of that place where your fingers all meet there, if you are holding mudra. And just breathing. Good. If you happen to be reclining or practicing some sort of relaxed pose, or you're in stillness, it might be really nice to just really slowly, like the slowest possible way you can, begin to move the body a little bit. Begin to wake yourself up. And eventually we'll all come up to a seated position, but you can just take your time getting there. There's this Mary Oliver poem that's really, really beautiful, and I won't read the whole thing, but the end of it just says, I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Okay, let's take a couple slow breaths of joy this morning. Let's reach our arms up, big inhale, out, big inhale, up, big inhale, exhale, hands to the heart. And maybe like 2 more of those if you want to, just slow. Inhale, 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 exhale. Yeah, you might make some noise with the next one if you want to. Inhale, 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 exhale. Good. Now let's stack our hands on top of our heart and look at each other. There you all are. Hi. It's really good to see you. See your faces and names. Let's drop our head down towards our hands and our heart. And just spend a second in gratitude for this practice and in gratitude for each other. Oh, yay. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy Sunday. Yeah.